Welcome to day 4 of Mid Semester Revamp week, where we're going to talk all about building out your study plan. Now, because of the fact that you may be afraid that you're going to fail at this point, you are going to have the urge to throw everything out and start fresh. And I do not want you to do that. It's not necessary. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be talking about how to create a study plan that actually works, that's effective, and that's going to help you to earn 10 points higher on your next exam and just keep getting better and better with every exam that you have left up until the end of the semester. Again, my goal with the whole revamp week is to help you to end the semester with the highest grade that it's possible for you at this point. Ideally, I want every single one of you to pass this class and to learn from this experience, take the learnings and apply them to your upcoming semester so that this upcoming semester you have your best semester yet. Because again, everything that it's going to take for you to turn things around is everything that, if you would have focused on it from the beginning of the semester, would have allowed you to finish the semester exactly the way that you imagined that you were going to finish at the beginning, right? So it's like everything that we're talking about over the course of these 5 days is exactly what I teach my students for them to have their best semester yet. And so what we're doing is we are basically refocusing you, revamping, recommitting, and just like doing what we know works to help us to get better grades and also have the free time we need to rest and unwind and be able to show up for our studying and for our exams like a human being, right? So watch the video, do everything that I say in the video, apply it, because this is what's going to allow you to actually turn things around, to stop failing exams, to pass the next exam, to catch up, to stay caught up from now until the end of the semester. On day 3, we talked about making a study schedule. Today, we're talking about making a study plan. So really quickly, I want to clarify what a study plan is. The study plans are the actions you take to earn the grades you want. So they are the actions that you put into your schedule, which we talked about yesterday, to help you to get the grades it is that you desire. The only 3 actions that you need to create or to take to create the grades it is that you desire is 1, take notes. 2, test yourself on those notes to make sure you've actually learned the information. And step 3, get help if and when you need it. I'm going to go into all 3 of these in a second. But the thing that I want you to understand is that everything that you do to take notes, everything that you do to quiz yourself to make sure that you actually learn the information, and everything you do to get help throughout the semester, as long as you're doing these 3 things, it will help you to earn the grades it is that you want. So when I talk about take notes, I'm talking about learning something. So whether or not you take notes from the PowerPoint doesn't matter. Whether or not you take notes from the textbook doesn't matter. Whether or not you take notes directly from lecture doesn't matter. Whether or not you take notes borrowed from somebody else who took the class 2 years ago doesn't matter. Whether or not you download notes from Quizlet doesn't matter. Whether or not you pull those notes from, I don't know, the sky, it doesn't matter. The only thing you have to be concerned and worried about, the only thing that you need to do is pick something to take notes with. The style of notes doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter if you do those notes in Cornell style. It doesn't matter if you do those notes in a mind map. It doesn't matter if you do those notes in an outline format. It doesn't matter if you do those notes directly on the PowerPoint. How you take the notes, where you take the notes from, doesn't matter. I promise you that it all works as long as you use it and evaluate it. So if you want to create a study plan and you want to have a schedule that helps you to earn better grades, it gives you the free time it is that you need to make sure that in your blocked off time to do your student activities, that you're scheduling time to take notes. Doesn't matter from where, and it doesn't matter how you take those notes, okay? The second thing that you need to do, so the second action that you need to be scheduling time out for in your schedule every week, is testing to make sure. You will hear me refer to this as quiz and recall or retrieval practice. It's just what you do as a self check-in with yourself to make sure that what you took notes on, you actually learned it and understood it. That if you were to be asked a question on an exam, if you were to be given a assignment for a paper, that you would be able to take all of the information that you had spent the past few weeks in your class reading about, listening about, talking about, and you would be able to condense it to answer really high level questions about it. You'd be able to demonstrate to your professor that not only do you know this information, but you understand it inside and out. And so in my world, with my students, we call this testing to make sure that we actually learn what we were supposed to learn when we took notes. The third thing that you want to schedule time for is getting help if and when you need it. So we're going to be taking notes. Again, how we take the notes, where we take the notes from, really doesn't matter because it all works as long as we are working it and evaluating, right? The next thing we're going to be doing is within our study plan, within our schedule every single week, we're going to make sure that we have blocked off time to check in with ourselves. Am I actually understanding this information? Am I able to solve problems without my notes in front of me? Am I able to answer questions without my notes in front of me? If I was asked to get up in front of the board and explain this to the class, could I do it, right? You're going to schedule time for that. This is really important because you want to know what you don't know before you get to an exam, before you have to sit down and write a paper, before you have to do a presentation. The whole reason why we're testing to make sure that we learned it is so that we can figure out what we don't know yet. Because when you can figure out what you don't know yet, you've just given yourself enough time to fill in the knowledge gap, which is where getting help comes in. Now, you're not always going to have carved out time in your schedule to get help because you might not always need it. Getting help is there if and when you need it. If you are testing yourself and you're realizing that you keep getting a particular type of math problem wrong, or you're really struggling with a concept in your psychology class, or even though when you're testing yourself on the information, there's something that happens when you're actually taking the test and the way that it's worded and the way that you need to use your brain to answer those questions that you're not quite getting. If you're noticing those things happen, getting help is you carving out the time to go to office hours, to go to tutoring, to watch supplemental instruction videos or attend supplemental instruction sessions or attend tutorial sessions, or just really do whatever it is that you need to do to make sure that you are learning what you're supposed to learn. Again, everything works. Mind maps, retrieval practice, flashcards, Quizlet, Anki, handwriting your notes, typing your notes, mind maps, Cornell notes, using the PowerPoint, attending lecture, not attending lecture, reading the textbook, not reading the textbook. It all works as long as you are doing all three of these steps. These three steps have been scientifically proven. I have been doing this work with students for nearly 7 years. When I was my first student going through this process, I read so many books, and in every single book, this is the process. This is how our brain learns. We get exposed to something, we take notes on it, or we remember what a person did. We practice it, right? We practice it, we test ourselves on it, and then we get help, we get feedback to make the necessary tweaks. This is how we learn. This is the way that the brain learns. These three steps are very simple. They're very easy to do, but they're also really easy not to do. So if these are the only three things that you need to focus on as a student, and you're not getting the grades it is that you desire, or maybe you are getting the grades it is that you desire, but it's taking you a lot of time, you don't have a lot of free time, the question you need to be asking yourself is, Am I actually doing these 3 action steps to study? Am I actually taking notes? Am I actually testing myself to make sure that what I took notes on, I know? Am I getting the help it is when I need it? Or am I in the drama of it? Now, what I mean when I talk about being in the drama is very similar to what I talked about regarding being in the drama in regards to your schedule. If you are having thoughts like, I don't know if this is going to work, what's the point? I've already taken this class 2 or 3 times before. I've tried every single study method that you can think of and nothing works. If you are in the back of your mind, you have this fear that you're going to fail and you have questions like, how much time do I give myself to study? Which note-taking method is the best? And you're obsessing over these details and you don't want to pick a plan because you're afraid that you're going to pick wrong. Really, what's running the show is your fear of failure. And if you're in that fear of failure, you're in what I call a lot of mind drama around your study plan. And when you're in a lot of mind drama around your study plan, because you're so afraid of failing, you typically don't take action. You don't do the 3 steps consistently. You wait until the last minute to study. You might not study at all. You might not show up for the exam at all. You might not take your notes at all. You're not doing the 3 steps. So it's really important that you ask yourself, if it's that simple, if all I need to do is take some notes, test myself to make sure that I understood what was on those notes and get help if and when I need it. It's not complicated to be a really good student. It's not complicated to have your best semester yet. It's actually really simple. But if you're not doing those things because you have a lot of mind drama going on, that's where we start getting into trouble. Now, if you are doing the 3 steps, you're taking your notes, you're testing yourself to make sure that you actually understood what's on those notes, you are getting the help, and you're still not getting and earning the grades it is that you desire, then we need to make sure that you're evaluating for the effectiveness of what you're doing to take your notes, what you're doing to test yourself, and what kind of help and support you're getting. So the questions that you want to ask yourself, if you are doing the 3 steps, but it's not yielding the results and the grades that you want in your papers and your exam, etc., is you need to ask yourself first, what grades did I create? Let's look at the facts here. Okay, in this first exam, I got a 77. How much free time did I create for myself? If that's one of your goals, maybe you're getting 90s and above in all of your exam, but you're studying 12 hours a day and you don't desire to do that. So how much free time did you create? What worked to help me get the 77? What didn't work? Where was the gap there? And how am I going to use that information to create more of what I desire moving forward? Now, I stand by this statement that everything that you've heard of to study works. It all works. There are times and places where one strategy works better for a particular class than another. And that's what I'm talking about in regards to effectiveness, is are the actions that you're taking helping you in the circumstance that you're in the class that you're in? And so this is why evaluating is really important. Now, most of the students who I work with, it's not so much that they're not studying effectively. Most of you already know what you should be doing. I talked about this on day 1. It's just that you can't get yourself to do it. Most of you are in the camp of you're not doing all the 3 steps consistently, right? You only do them when you realize that you're going to fail or you realize that you have an exam coming up, right? And it's because you're in a lot of mind drama. So one of the things that I aim to do with this 5-day challenge is to help you to clean up some of that mind drama. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow on day 5. But just to recap, day 4 today, we talked all about creating your study plan. And there are only 3 actions that you need to have as part of your study plan to help you to get the grades it is that you desire and have the free time it is that you desire. All you have to do is take notes. All you have to do is test yourself to make sure that what you took notes on, you actually learned and understood, meaning you're able to answer questions about it without the notes in front of you. You can walk yourself through the thinking process of all of that without your notes in front of you. There's a really solid understanding, not memorization, solid understanding. And 3, You're getting help if and when you're noticing I have some knowledge gaps. There's some things that I'm confused about. There's some things that I don't quite understand. There's something about the way the questions are asked that I don't get, and I need to learn how to think through this a little bit better. You get the help when you need it. Notice how these 3 steps are very general. And the reason why they're very general is because every study strategy works. And I want students to be able to pick things based off of what they desire and how they like to take notes and whatever they think is going to be best for the particular class. It allows you to be flexible. It allows you to customize your study plan for the classes that you're taking so that you can truly optimize it to get you the grades it is that you desire with the amount of free time it is that you desire. So tomorrow we're going to be talking about how to use your brain and your emotions to create everything that you need to have your best semester yet. And that is my code for saying how to use your brain and your emotions to get yourself to stick to creating a study schedule and creating a study plan so that you can actually get the grades it is that you desire. And I cannot wait to teach you this tomorrow. Your challenge assignment for today is to answer these questions right here. What grades did I create this past semester? How much free time did I create for myself this past semester? What worked to help me get the grades? What didn't work? So what got me grades that I didn't want? How did you show up in that scenario? And how am I going to use that information to create more of what I desire moving forward into the spring semester? And so tomorrow we'll talk about how to use your brain to get yourself to stick to things, how to use your emotions to get yourself to stick to things. And we'll also talk a little bit more about educating the art of becoming a good student.